And we're back. And to the new viewers, I always have to say, these videos are just really sped up. This is sped up 800%. It's a 4-video series that is available on Patreon that is much more of a tutorial, like how I did it, why I did it, etc., the kind of how-to, basically. Whereas here on the channel, we just sort of do an overview, and you can see what's all happening and talk about sort of like thought process in terms of concept and thought process in terms of my own satisfaction. Now, at the end of the video, I will back out so that you can hear my kind of response and how I felt about this piece in real time as I finished. But as you all know, my goal with a lot of this stuff is to put them in realistic environments, because I think that they end up looking better and more grounded in more realistic environments and end up looking worse in more cartoony environments. But it continues to be a bit of a challenge to come up with new, unique, and kind of visually interesting settings to put them in along the way. And I ended up learning some things with this that I will pass on. But I knew I kind of wanted these guys to be like in a, like a scary place, for lack of a better term, like a Mordor or, you know what I mean? Like Mustafar, like something that struck you as being a dangerous environment. So I was like, well, I'll just put them in like a volcano-ish area and have lava and stuff. And I have never done lava, so, it gives me the opportunity to kind of learn something new, which I'm always sort of down for. Whether I succeed or fail at it is an entirely different kind of set of circumstances. But in terms of just trying something new, I'm usually up for it, so to speak. But so I did. That was the goal, and I figured it was going to be somewhat rewarding. And I also knew that, like, in terms of laying it out, I'm constantly thinking about my collection, the future of my collection, and the possibilities of where my collection is going. So what I wanted room for the 2 X-Transbots horror cons, I think they're called, the triple changers. Simultaneously, I wanted space for the 3 Fans Toys Headmasters. And then anything else on top of that would be a bonus. And what this would allow ultimately is to bring in a separate shelf for Target Masters, a whole separate shelf. It logistically is what it would give me. However, if they never make Target Masters, I can always split my horror cons and my Headmasters into 2 different environments and at least fill the shelves with, stuff. So it doesn't look, so I hate an empty shelf, man. Like, it's almost as bad as a cluttered detolf and empty. It's like the exact opposite in many ways, isn't it? It's the anti-cluttered detolf, and they're both bad. They're both on opposite ends of the kind of spectrum there. So that was kind of the thought process there. And because, third party these days is kind of anybody's guess in terms of masterpiece scale, what we're actually going to get at the end of all this, I want to be prepared for the best case scenario, and I also want to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And I know sometimes that sounds pessimistic. It's certainly not the way that I mean it, but it is something that, as a consumer of this stuff, that I want to be ready for. But I got to use a lot of different skills that I've kind of acquired, and I use the term skills loosely, but techniques, I guess I should say, for this one. And then I got to try some new stuff out, which was pretty cool, and gave me the opportunity, like I said, to kind of try some new stuff and put them in a striking environment and logistically have the space. And that's basically all that this one was about. And that's the reason why in that footage that you saw earlier, I put them all in and moved them around. Like, okay, they'll work if they're posed, they'll work if they're standing straight up and down. It's just kind of my world. Hopefully there's a little bit of give in case any kind of little small thing comes along that I could, try out to, even make it even a little bit more interesting. I will say that, like, this technique that you can see there of like going from dark to light is something that I learned in digitally coloring things, of like how to make things look like they're glowing when they're certainly not. Maybe I should put some of that stuff up here too, some of the drawing stuff I've done in video tutorials, or not tutorials, but overviews of that as well, just something different. A lot of airbrushing techniques, dry brushing, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, I'm pretty happy with this one. Spoilers, but let me tell you something that I learned about it along the way. So bottom shelves are tricky, and they have a tendency to get lost in the sauce. And I've done a few now, and I've learned some valuable lessons. Number one, they work great if you have something really large there and like kind of heavy looking. So if you have like a big heavy statue or bot at the bottom, it's going to help. The other thing that really helps is like books or something like that, something that's like large and kind of uniformed. And granted, like if you're going to do like toys on the top couple shelves and then like books across the bottom, you know, nice and organized and neatly kept, that tends to look good as well because once again, it has that weight, it has that gravity. But there's something that I learned with this one that I wasn't aware of before, but little stuff like the lightning here that I did was completely accidental. I just wanted to have it in there because I wanted it to look scarier. Those cloud effects too is something new I was trying out too, and I think it turned out nice. But the lightning and the lava, these like bright blasts of color end up making the bottom shelves stand out and drawing your attention to them. And as a result, you they don't get lost, which is really the goal, because I have some bottom shelves that have gotten lost. Two of my Marvel Legends bottom shelves I think are lost, whereas another one I didn't think of at the time that kind of stands out, has like a really orangish kind of sky, and that color helps. So that's a little bit I pass on. Bright colors help bottom shelves. And then this was me working on the floor. This was a pain. There's, like, I remember the process of it. There's really everything about it, the sculpting of it, the painting of it, the lava, like everything, the airbrushing of it, everything about it was trying. There was nothing that came easy about it. Everything took multiple layers of paint and almost nauseating kind of work. But for a first go at it, I think I did a good job. And if you know me, you know I'd much rather tear myself apart than build myself up. But every now and then I satisfy myself, so to speak. And this is probably one of them. Using these blue-gray colors amidst the orangish reds and yellows and the lightning purple in the sky. And the other thing that I kind of did on this one that I haven't really done before is light sourcing, which you'll see here shortly, where like I painted some purple light color purple on the rocks as if the lightning was lighting up the environment. I've tried this once before, but I think it was pretty effective here. So look, I'm gonna back out of here shortly and let you hear my kind of real honest thoughts at the time. But thank you guys. Take care. There it is. It looks really good. Oh, holy guacamole.
And completion of a whole shelf.
That's true. I have to get that when we... But good night. That looks... This one I'm pretty proud of. I don't know why it turned out so good, but it did. Let's put some figures in it. And there it is. And it's a bummer that my wipe is gonna block the volcano. Something I didn't think about.
Yeah.
But it still looks really good.
A little lower. Give him a
No.
horse stance.
I mean, it really looks good. I'll back out and show you the whole shelf. So, another shelf done.